Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, it's going to be the best and most updated superconductive cooling unit farm. Now, would I say Axe Converter is the best and nothing's changed? For once, I would say there is definitely a big back and forth. So let's talk about it. Now, the first thing I'm going to start off this video with is going to be an absolutely massive disclaimer. I do not take any responsibility. I do not take any streamer is not responsible for any brain damage you may experience whilst playing the recommended content. Okay, thank you. We're gonna start off with that. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right on into today's video. So let's start talking about Axe Converter. Now, Axe Converter has forever been the longest and the strongest superconductive cooling unit farm. With Axe Converter, it's basically always just been, well, you know, it's been consistent, and it's also been pain, and a lot of people have complained. For the Axe Converter setup, I have an entire dedicated YouTube video on the updated Inace setup, but I will just quickly run over it for you once again. With Inace over here, what you would want to be running is the following. You'd want to be running a build like this, based off MP. If you are suffering with survivability, take this off and replace it with a health mod. Your damage will tank hard, but you'll survive. With this, I believe in the philosophy of if you nuke it first, it will not hurt you. You'd want MP crit damage or tech on the ancestor. For the reactor, tech crit damage, bravery set for your cooldown, and then this is the tree you'd want to go with, along with RK overheat shield. As for the secret garden, this is just a stat stick. 2 sprints and a grapple core is enough. Brisk walk for a bit of extra movement. Exterminator, triple fire rate is important. And then running it for this with the general round is also important to maintain and replenish your ammo. Easy. And then I use the shadow to one-shot the boss at the end. Now I've become a shadow believer, so this is what I go with on the shadow, and that's basically the Inace setup for Axe Converter. If you want to run it solo, even if you run it in squads, will work perfectly fine. Now with Axe Converter, I did of course write the info down for my runs. Across 20 runs of Axe Converter, because I was running it with a very well optimized team, I was able to get consistent 1-minute clears. You can easily run this solo and also get the 1-minute clears, but you just need to know what you're doing. In this run, you can see I just did a 1-minute 4 clear in the background, but yeah. Alyssa, I woke up from the hospital and the doctors told me about being in 10 years sleep and noticing behavior. They noticed me playing Axe Converter and told me I was only mentioning Tyrants, Inace, and Shadow Sword, and things got really bad when I said there was no jackpot. This is your fault, Alyssa. Holy coffee pasta. But basically, around about 1 minute from the around 1 minute for the runs. For the base superconductive, it's always going to be 11. Now, I did manage to get really good RNG and get 5 jackpots in 20 runs, which is a 20% chance. Are you going to get this normally? No, you will not. I'll be completely honest with you. And this is semi-inflated stats, at least for Axe Converter. This took a total of 20 minutes. My base superconductive was 220. So if we're using just the base, this is okay. If we take into account the jackpot superconductive being around about the same within the time frame, you get 500 superconductive in around about 20 minutes. Is this going to happen consistently? Like I said, no, it will not. So this is just what we have got with this over here. Now, Axe Converter is insanely brain numbing, and this is essentially what you would be getting on average with Axe Converter. Depending on how good or fast you can run with this with Inace, you can get 1-minute runs or 2-minute runs. If it's anything faster than I'd say anything slower than 1 minute 30-second runs, around 115 to 125 to 135, then it's not worth running Axe Converter. Don't bother wasting your time. Next up, let's have a quick look at breach tracking. Now, for breach tracking, let me quickly run it this way. We'll also just leave this gameplay in the background. With breach tracking, my runs in solo at least were 3 minutes with Bunny, tile set dependent, of course. And I got 40, I got 80, I got 40, 100, 40, 80, 40, 80, 40, and then 100. And this was about 35 minutes of breach tracking. Now, I know you may look at the time and think, well, this is a whole 15 minutes longer than Axe. But you've got to bear in mind, this jackpot is not consistent at all. this is not a consistent jackpot. This is completely RNG based, meaning that this farm is 100% boosted by this jackpot. Take that away and you would have only gotten 220 versus getting 640 over here. Again, the 100s and 80s aren't consistent either, or they're not guaranteed, but at the same time, you can consistently get higher runs with this. Let's say, for example, if you are running a 1 minute 30-second run, as I said for an example, that would end up being a 4 minute 30-second run for 11 of these. Even if you get a jackpot, you'd get 60 of these in 4.5 minutes. If you were to run one of these in 3 minutes and get 40, see what I mean? You basically get ratioed. Or if you get 80, you get ratioed. Or if you get 100 or 500, you get ratioed. So, this is essentially the truth behind breach tracking versus Axe Converter. Now, if I was to talk about which one is consistently better and stuff like that, it genuinely, in my honest opinion, is breach tracking. They both have their upsides and their downsides. Axe Converter will only show up once every X amount of hours. The Axion rotations are in fact fixed. So let me just quickly show you the Axion rotations for everyone who wants to grab a screenshot. So Axion's rotations stay as this every single time. So if you look at Axion and you just scan for one of the missions, check the second one. Let's say, for example, I look at Axion, I see Seal Residential District, and then I check is Axe Refinery the other location. These could be in either order, there's no fixed order. Then I'll be like, okay, we're on rotation 2. Okay, it's just started, we've got 8 hours until the next Axe Converter. So on and so forth. So that's just the way that I like to look at it, and this is the rotation that is existing in Axion, and it's always the same one. So you can basically run Axe Converter on X cycle, which is a hard limitation. Now, with breach tracking, this is key dependent, so again, it is a very, very hard limitation, depending on, well, what it is that you are doing. And with this as well, this definitely screws you over in terms of, well, you know, if you've got bad key RNG, you can't run this. Axe Converter's not here, you can't run that. I don't understand why they make farms limited, but this is the truth behind it. If we do look at what is the worst case scenario, 616 Axe Converters in, or 616 Superconductive inside of a, wrong thing. Inside of a 1 hour run, this is with the still same time frame of 1 minute a run with no jackpots. And then if you do technically get jackpots, it goes up to about 1,000 in an hour, which is fairly expected. If you get a jackpot every run though, you'll be balling and have like 3,000 an hour. So yeah, don't worry about that. That's not gonna happen. Well, almost 4,000 an hour, which is a nuts. With breach, again, the same thing. 1 hour scaling on breach again would basically end up just allowing you to go up to around about 680 in an hour if we just do 40 every single run. So again, even in a worst case scenario, this is still better than Axe Converter. In a realistic scenario, it's about 1,000 an hour, if not higher, depending on the RNG. When I have been running breach tracking myself though, I have definitely been getting more 100s and more 80s than 40s. More so 80, I think, is the most prominent one that I get. If I get 3 runs with 40, I'll end up getting like 2 or 3 runs with 80 and 100. So it is RNG based, which is another factor. So, you know, we love RNG in this game. Now, which farm should you run realistically? I'd say you run Axe Converter if you don't want any RNG and you want consistent 11 runs. You're semi-AFKing it, so, you know, you're tabbing out, watching a Twitch stream, you want to talk a little bit, using A, slap your ability down, you can talk in a Twitch screen or whatever. Twitch stream or YouTube, or watch a YouTube video at the same time. If you need consistent amount of Superconductive in an hour, so, you know, if you need at least 500, you're definitely going to get it here. Same argument could be made for breach tracking as well, so it does work out that way, realistically. If you just like short and repeatable runs and stuff like that, you know, just missions that you feel satisfied just pew getting it done, then Axe Converter again is another good choice for you. And a fair warning, this is brain numbing as fuck, especially if you do this long term, because I do, I think, 4 to 6 hours of Axion Converter a day. And if I tell you that I want to jump off my balcony with no parachute in game, of course, I really mean that I definitely want to bloody do it, because it is really, 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 really painful on the mind. Now, breach tracking. I'd say use breach tracking if you want better superconductive efficiency and you want higher amounts. And if you're already running breach for gold, you can stack this as a gold and a superconductive farm. And if you're good with a bit of RNG between 40 to 80 and stuff like that, and you want higher long session totals, so you know, if you want to run for like an hour or two, if you've got a few hundreds or a few thousand keys and you just want to go all in, and then you look at it and you want to be like, holy shit, we got an insane amount, it's breach tracking. Next up, what would I say? The best in terms of consistency is Axion Converter, because you consistently get 11, but the best superconductive per hour, even including even if we do include jackpot, sorry, is still breach tracking, because you get a better chance at stuff like that. Lower effort Axion Converter, I'm gonna change that to breach tracking, because honestly, I have more fun playing breach tracking, and when you're having fun, it feels like less of a chore. Higher efficiency breach tracking, and overall, the absolute best, breach tracking. It is limited by the keys, but I promise you, I'd rather sit around being bored waiting for keys than sit in Axion Converter and start counting the amount of pixels on the boss, because I've seen him that many times. That is at least the most updated and efficient way for superconductive cooling unit. So yeah, that's pretty much everything in this video, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button, and if you are new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the First Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!